Hello and welcome to my channel, Shanna Makes It. This is Shanna, and today we're going to be finishing off this set of KCC14 Kinder's Card Challenge, and I'm going to be doing sketches 10 through 15 on this video, and we'll just get this set finished up today. Now, I've changed color schemes a little bit on this. I'm bringing in some purple background panels. I've been using the pink and the blue, and we're going to kind of go with a purple scheme on a couple of these. So I'm just going to get this panel laid down, and I have embossed it with the crisscross motif embossing folder from Spellbinders. And this is the one that uses the 3 squares, and you're going to put them on the diagonal, and you need to layer them up with another square. So I think it's 1 5/8 is what the square is, if I'm not mistaken. And so I'm just going to get these layered up and laid down on the panel here. And we'll get this card put together. Now I was going to use the kind of light pale yellow color on there, and then just use the floral on the one. But then when I flipped it over, I decided to go ahead and use this blue that has kind of the multicolored balloons or eggs on it, and just go ahead and use that extra color on this card. So this one, I must have grabbed the wrong piece. I was trimming them, and I must have laid the correct square aside and then grabbed the incorrect one. So I needed to trim a little bit on it to make it work. So I'm just going to figure out how I'm going to line these up on here. So I'll fuss with these quite a bit until I get them how I want them, and then we'll get them glued down on here. Now this voiceover, I did the first part of it last night, and then actually my sister came and we went to a festival in town, and so I'm doing the second part of it, the voiceover, today. So the festival is, it's something that our town has. It's called First Fridays, and they have just like a little fair type thing where they've got like bouncy toys and stuff for the kids, and then they have the craft booths and just little booths set up to where you can buy stuff and visit stuff, and some vendors and some businesses and stuff set up booths, and you can go around and check. And then, of course, they have the fair food that we all love, and then they had a band. And so we walked around and we got some food. I actually got a corn dog. That's what I had to eat. And then we watched the band. I think they were called Moon Dogs. And man, they had some fabulous guitar players. I really enjoyed watching that because I play guitar. And I told my sister I needed to be the understudy with one of those dudes because they were just fantastic. Anyway, so that's what we did. And so I'm picking up where I left off today and doing the voiceover, or where I left off yesterday doing the voiceover for this. So I'm going to get this sentiment laid down, and I am actually laying it on the left side instead of the right because I wanted that focal point there to be able to be seen and not cover it up with my sentiment. And so I'm just doing that. And I needed to add a little extra foam. I thought layering it, I wouldn't need it on that edge, but I did because that paper is pretty thin. So the sketch does call for 3 embellishments in the upper right-hand corner, but that one was just too ornate with the embossed folder, so I didn't feel like I needed to do it. Now here I've die cut this circle, as I do often, and you'll see me do it again, to save on my cardstock, because I like to make the most of my materials as always. This is a glitter cardstock that was included in the Love from Lizi kit, and I cut it into 2 panels, and so I could use it that way. And I'm just going to get it laid down on here. And I actually cut it, I cut it, I think to 4, because I think I had an 8-inch strip. So it's not exactly the same as the sketch. The sketch, the background panel, is actually A2 size, but this one's just going to be 4 by 5.5. And then I've got these 2 pattern pieces of paper that are going to go here, but I realized I forgot to bring in the layer. And so I'm going to grab some cardstock, this pink cardstock here, so that I can just layer it up and add that layer. It'll help me to get them laid down too, because that glitter would be hard to glue, glue those 2 evenly and flat. So I've trimmed this down to the sketch size, but I actually, when I put the glue down on here, I'm about 1/8 of an inch too close to the edge. And so I'll put my next one down and I'll have a bigger edge there than what I do on the other side. So I'm just going to take it and trim it down, and then we'll get it laid down on our panel. So handmade cards are not perfect, and so we just work with what we've got, and no one will ever know the difference, that it's this that the that is 1/8 of an inch off of the sketch. So I'm going to use this tape glue runner to adhere to my glitter cardstock, because it'll just adhere better, because sometimes the glue takes a minute to stick to the glitter, and I didn't want it to move around because I had it on there straight. So this is just a circle die cut of some of the pattern paper, and it wasn't, the paper that I had that I die cut it from wasn't quite large enough, and so I've got a little edge on there that is flat on that circle, and so I'm going to lay that down to where my blue circle is going to cover up that flat spot, and then you'll never know the difference. So I'm going to bring in some foam and just pop this up and get it laid down. And it'll cover up that little flat edge of my circle. And I think it turned out nice. So now we're going to move on to sketch 12. And this is one that uses some of the pieces from Lynn's Wonder Die 1, Mini Wonder Die 1. And I have embossed this panel, and the circle is also embossed. I cut the circle out and then emboss the panel, then emboss the circle. And I'm going to use 2 pieces of the pattern paper, and I'm choosing to use more of a plain one on this instead of the bunnies on the other side. That way I'm not really tied to spring or Easter. Well, I guess I am going to add a bunny to it, but that could be, I guess a bunny could be all spring or summer long, I guess. Anyway, so I'm going to get it laid down on here. And then I'm going to bring in that little strip that came from her die set. I actually die cut it for the yellow side, but then I changed my mind and decided I would use the more pattern paper, since I'm using more of a plain paper on the base. And the stitch doesn't look exactly right, but it's fine. So I'm just going to do both of them like that and get them laid down on there. And was just checking to make sure my circle would cover the top of one and the bottom of the other. And it does. So we'll get it laid down on there. And then we'll bring our little die cut bunny in and just put him on the center of that. And I'm going to pop him up. That paper is pretty thin, so I'm going to put some foam tape on there and hopefully give it a little bit of stability. And then get it laid down on there. Now, I feel like I need a sentiment for it. I've not done a sentiment for all these, but I've got this Happy Spring that was part of my Pink and Main Crafty Courtyard kit. I had stamped and die cut out a whole bunch of them in different colors, and this purple just matched perfectly. So I grabbed it, and I'm going to get it laid down on there, and I think that'll finish off the card nicely. And so we're going to just move on to sketch 13. And this one also uses some of the banners from from Lynn's Mini Wonder Die, or Easy Wonder Die. I don't know why I keep saying mini. It's Easy Wonder Die 1, and you can pick that up at the Not Too Shabby shop if you're interested in getting it. I think they may still have some left. I know they were doing some pre-ordering to get some more, but I'm not sure, but you can check it out and see if it's available. Now I'm just lining this up on my glass board so that I can get that first banner right in the middle of the paper. And I'm just going to try and get it right in the middle. And this is the long one. And this sketch actually calls for one that's long. You've got like a long, a medium, and then a short. But I'm going to do the 2 on the sides even. And so I'll just have an even one. I wanted to try it that way just to be a little bit different. And then you've got to kind of lay it high on the card base because you've got a lot of length there. So I'm going to glue it down and get it laid down on the card base. And then inside this kit was also some wooden cutout pieces, and this little bunny was on there. And I thought this would be the opportunity to bring in the bunny cutout. I think even though I didn't ink blend it like I did the flower in my last video, I I thought the wood grain looked nice with that pale yellow paper that I have there. And I thought about bringing in one of the bunny tails that was included in the kit, but I just thought the dimension would be pretty substantial for putting it in an envelope. So I passed on that. And then I'm bringing in this other sentiment from Pink and Maine that I had die cut out. And it says, "I'm here for you." And I'm going to get it laid down on the card. And then we'll have this card complete. And there we go. I think that's fun. I first this set of 15 was the first time I've really ever put like a wood element on my card, I think. So that was kind of different and fun. So we're moving on to sketch 14, and this is the build a scene card sketch. And I've got my shaker window cut out, and I used the Easy Wonder die for it. And I've got these remnants from the circle to the left there the remnant paper. I cut these off, and I thought I would just put an edge on two of my corners there and get it laid down. And I did that because I had a little boo-boo on my paper, and I thought, well, this would be an easy way to cover it up so you wouldn't see it. And I also I've got actually three layers there. I've got my pattern paper and two cardstock layers on this, so that I could lay some adhesive or some plastic. I can't think of what I'm trying to say there. Anyway, I'm using this acetate. That's the word I was looking for, to create a shaker window. Sometimes when you're doing these voiceovers, you just have a mind go blank and you can't think what you want to say or what you call it or what it's named or whatever. And it's like, oh my goodness. So I'm going to get it laid down, and I'm just using some double-sided tape so that I won't make a gluey mess with it. And then I'll bring in my bone folder, and I like to press down on there so that my tape gets stuck really well, and then when I go to pull my release paper, I won't pull my tape up with it. That just is a helpful little tip that I like to do. And I'm going to, so that I get it on here straight, I'm going to try this tag method where I just make a little tag, and I can try to get it lined up straight before I adhere the whole thing. And that way I don't get it crooked and then I can't pull it back up or whatever. So I've got it, and I'm just dusting off. It's got some bits on there. And I'm going to lay this circle behind it. If I'd have thought about it beforehand, I probably would have made a square. But I didn't think I was going to do a shaker, and then at the last minute decided to do a shaker with it. And so I've got this circle, and I'm just bringing in some foam tape, popping it up, and creating my well for all my shaker bits. And then once I kind of hold my circle up to it, I realize I need to kind of plug in the corners as well. So I'll do that also. So right now I'm just grabbing my shaker bits, and I'm using some from Cat Scrappiness. They have the best shaker bits in my mind. And I've got some pink dots and I've got some like white crystal balls that I'm going to use. And those are the ones I've chosen for this. And I'm going to flip it over, and then I'm going to put my circle up there, and then I'm like, oh, I need to fill in those corners. So I'm going to grab some more foam tape here and just get these corners filled in. And then I will be able to add my shaker bits to the well and get my circle laid down on there. And I wasn't certain when I was making it if the circle would cover up enough so that my bits didn't escape. But putting these corner pieces in there, I think that's what took care of it. I tried to make sure I covered all of it. And then when I get it laid down, it'll be good and secure, so I won't have to worry about it once it's laid down. So I'm just pulling the corner pieces off and the outside pieces, and we're going to get it laid down on there. I set my my magnet on there just so it would hold it down while I was pulling those pieces off. And I'm going to put my bits in there. I thought if it wasn't moving around while I put my bits in, they wouldn't get stuck to my foam. So that's why I did that. And then I'm going to very carefully pull that magnet out and then get that circle laid down on there and contain all of my bits. So I'm just going to rub around there real well, make sure. And I've got a good amount in there. And you can still see the little floral background pattern in that. So I'm just going to add some glue, and then I've got the corners of that with the foam tape on there where it will get adhered down. And I had a piece of vellum that I was going to put on this to kind of soften that pink, and you can see it laying there. And I totally forgot that I was going to add that. And I wish I had, because I thought that would have been a nice little feature to soften it. But I forgot, and so I got in a hurry, and I didn't get it down. And so I'm going to lay this beautiful pattern paper next to that, and I'm going to move that vellum aside, realizing I've totally forgotten it. And then this calls for a banner to go down there. And I wasn't sure I wanted to use the banner. So at this point, I'm trying a bow and trying to see if I like that. And I'm just fiddling around with it. And then I decide, no, I don't like that. That's not going to work for me. So I'm going to throw that aside. And I've decided that I think I should bring that yellow back in, because I thought that would just tie them together. So I laid aside the banner that I had cut with a cutting, and I'm using this yellow. I'm going to cut just a little banner strip down, and I'm at my guillotine right now, just trimming it up. And I'm going to bring in the yellow, and we'll banner it up. And I think that just ties them together, and I like that better. I've got it, it's probably a little bit longer maybe than this. No, I think I measured it to the sketch. So I'm going to just glue it down, and then that'll just kind of tie the yellow and the floral elements together, and I think that worked out okay. Now I'm putting my bits away, or actually I'm sprinkling some of those white glassy sequin balls out, and I'm going to add some of them. There's some in there that are pretty big, and they've got pretty good dimension on there, so I'm going to lay several of those down on this card as well, just to kind of add some bling bling to it. And then I will tell you, after I got done with this video and I was messing around my craft room cleaning things up, I actually decided to die cut out, or fussy cut out, another bunny with a floral element, and I put it in the upper right-hand corner of this circle. I just did that after the fact. Sometimes you do that after you get done. You look at it and you think, it needs something else. And I just felt like it did, so I did that after the fact. So we're going to bring in sketch 15. And this one I've got one of the cut-aparts of beautiful flower element that I'm going to use. And I'm going to bring in the pink again and just lay this panel down on my card base. And the last few card bases have lined up pretty well. I was really pleased I haven't cut them. Now this one I think it's folded a little wrong, so I'm gonna tuck it in and bring my bone folder and score it up, and I won't have to cut it, so I was happy with that. And then I'm gonna bring in this beautiful floral pattern paper. It's gonna be my back layer, and I'm just kind of using my bone folder to straighten out any little edges that are on there. Get this laid down, make sure I've got it in the right direction before I start gluing everything down. And I just think this pattern paper is just so gorgeous. This whole set has just been beautiful in my opinion, just solely because of the pattern paper that was included in this kit. We'll get this glued up and get this laid down. This is going to be more toward the center of our card. And I did emboss that panel because I wanted it to have a little bit more interest. And I'm going to just layer up my focal point here and get it laid down on my card. I'm going to pop up that square. Since it's going to be on multiple layers, I thought I'd just pop it up, then I won't have to worry about the levels. And I think that looks pretty. So we'll just get this laid down on here, and I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, do I want to add a sentiment? Is there something else I want to bring into this? And so I found this sentiment here that I already had die cut out. I needed like a cream colored sentiment. So I had to go digging for one because my white ones I thought would not look right on there and my black ones would be too stark. And so I found one that I had that said, "Thanks so much," that was in cream. And that'll finish off the rest of my cards for Kinder's Card Challenge. And I'll be able to move on to my next project. So I hope you like them. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.